Machiavelli said it to strip away illusions. You live in a market where attention is traded like grain, and every scroll is a bid. If you don't set terms, you are sold at whatever price the crowd offers. This is the painful truth. The attention economy does not care who you are inside. It rewards signals. It rewards structure. It pays the man who governs himself. Look at your feed like a bazaar at noon. The air is hot, the noise is brutal, and sellers shout over one another. The loudest tent draws a flash of eyes, but volume is not valuable. Many hawk colors and scandal because it works for a moment. Then the crowd moves on. In this market, you are tempted to raise your voice, to perform, to spend your dignity for seconds of contact. You call it engagement. It is often a discount. The worthy man gets eclipsed by the noisy one until the worthy man acts like a prince who prices his presence. Power, in this world, is the right to set prices. When you have no rules, you are a bargain bin, always available, always negotiating, always explaining. You answer instantly. You apologize for having a life. You post because you're afraid of being forgotten. That nervous rhythm makes you cheap. The fix is not louder branding. The fix is policy. Clear limits, simple cadence, predictable consequence, response windows that protect your focus, posting schedules that reflect your mission, not your mood, a refusal to chase every ping. Your frame is not a facial expression, it is statecraft. Think of yourself as a small state with a constitution. What do you allow at your borders? What happens when someone tests them? What behavior earns access? And what behavior loses proximity? Princes set these things in writing, then enforce them with steady hands. Your constitution can be simple. You do not answer in anger. You do not plead for clarity. You move meetings to written agendas. You end calls that turn disrespectful. You never post from panic. Examples are close and ordinary. In DMs, you reply twice a day, not on impulse. Urgent people learn your cadence. In dating, you do not chase after mixed signals. Your rule is, clarity earns access, confusion earns space. At work, you confirm decisions in writing and redirect drama to process. With friends, you keep plans you made and decline the ones you didn't. You protect mornings for craft. You exit group chats that turn into mobs. None of this is loud. It is a calm government. Notice what changes when you govern. You stop asking, do they like me? You start asking, does this deal serve the state? Your time becomes an asset, not a donation box. Scarcity appears without theater because you are busy with real work. People sense it. Scarcity raises your price. Consistency sustains it. In a week, your inbox cools. In a month, your calendar hardens into a pattern. In a year, your reputation does the bidding for you. You didn't become louder. You became clearer. The attention economy will not love you back. It will measure you. Meet measurement with governance. Let your answers arrive on your schedule. Let your presence arrive in doses the mission can afford. Let consequence, not speeches, do the heavy lifting. This is not cruelty. This is care for the state you are building. Calm streets, clean books, guarded gates. Play the bazaar if you wish, but enter like a prince, with terms, with patience, with a price that reflects your worth. Set terms, then let silence sell. Men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel. You live in a theater that mistakes light for warmth. The screen glows, comments clap, and your pulse jumps because a number rose. You confuse temperature with love. In the attention market, applause is a rental. It leaves when the music stops. The comforting lie says constant visibility earns loyalty. Machiavelli cuts through it. Chasing approval sells you cheap. Setting terms raises your price. The trap of being liked begins with a shortage of spine. You post to avoid silence, not to deliver value. You reply the moment a bubble appears, not because the message matters, but because the weight terrifies you. You laugh at jokes you don't respect, and soften boundaries to keep faces near you. This is not kindness, it is bargaining with your dignity. Dependence reads as weakness, even to gentle eyes. People do not announce it, they record it. The man who always says yes cannot say no to exploitation. Watch how ruthlessly the crowd punishes need. The instant you signal that you require their glow to feel real, you become a toy they can withhold. They learn your triggers. Delay becomes a leash. A partner senses it and drips mixed signals to keep you chasing. A client senses it and expands scope without pay. The platform senses it and feeds you crumbs to keep you swiping. Quiet contempt grows around the man who begs for eyes. He thinks he is agreeable. They think he is acquired. Visibility is not security. A burst of eyes can make rent, but it cannot build a fortress. Spikes feel like success because the chart shoots up, yet the base is sand. Real power, the kind that survives a bad week, and a rumor grows from scarcity and consequence. You set a rhythm smaller than the crowd wants, and you hold it. You set response terms, and you enforce them. You leave when disrespected, and you do not explain your exit. Scarcity is not drama. It is a calendar shaped by mission, not panic. Think like a ruler who must outlast festivals and famines. Measure not by cheers, but by compliance with your terms. Respect is the quiet behavior of those who adjust to your cadence. They arrive on time because you do. They pay because the alternative is distance. They speak plainly because drama has no purchase with you. None of this requires a raised voice. It requires predictable consequences. When people know what disrespect follows, they police themselves. When they cannot predict you, they test you. Modern life gives you precise arenas to practice. At work, publish once a week at a standard you protect, not daily at a quality you cannot sustain. Your clients learn that your hours are real. In dating, you do not negotiate in texts at midnight. You move it to a call tomorrow, or to silence. With friends, you do not allow constant teasing to pose as affection. You call it once, and if it continues, you reduce access. This is not coldness, it is maintenance of the state you are building. Now, unmask the flatterer's smile. In old courts, flattery was currency because it opened doors. Today, algorithms flatter by making you feel central. A push notification pretends your name is urgent. A trend invites you to dance for relevance. A free tool asks for your contacts to help you grow. People mirror the tactic. They praise your talent to recruit your labor. They compliment your discipline by borrowing it. They call you bro, king, genius, because titles are cheap and your time is not. Machiavelli warns that princes who love flatterers become blind. The cure is not bitterness, it is measurement. Ask, what does this smile cost in time, focus, or reputation? What is the exit if the warmth cools? If the answer is none, you are the product. Build small tests that surface intent. Delay your yes for a day and watch who stays. Ask for written terms instead of promises and watch who vanishes. Put a price on your effort and watch who respects the invoice. Praise without proof is fog. Study the geometry of your own needs. If you reach for your phone the second you feel lonely, create a ritual that intercepts the hand. 10 push-ups, a page of notes, a glass of water. If you check for replies every 5 minutes, set 2 response windows and live in the hours between. If you post because you feel invisible, stop and make something hard and quiet an edit, a plan, a run. Your citizens, emotions, habits, appetites obey the law you enforce. Unclear law invites riots. Clear law calms the square. Expect accusation. You will be called distant. You are not. You are disciplined. You will be called cold. You are not. You are consistent. The court prefers princes who perform affection on command. The state prefers princes who keep the road safe. Let your warmth arrive on purpose, not as bait. Save it for those who invest, who keep their word, who thrive under your cadence. The ones who only loved your spotlight will drift to a brighter stage. Let them. Those who respect your terms will build with you. The illusion was comforting, that love could be harvested by being seen. The truth is harder and kinder. Love that lasts grows in the dark, under policies that protect it from panic. Step back from the window, write your terms, enforce them with small, boring actions. Your throne is not rented if your laws are real. The crowd may clap, the crowd may leave. Your state remains. Seek respect, and let affection follow order. The wound you hide writes your laws in secret. It chooses your tone before you speak, your reach before you think, your price before you bargain. Until you claim the pen, you are governed from within, and the crowd learns your constitution faster than you do. Begin at the childhood of the courtier. Picture a house where praise arrived like rain in drought, unpredictable, dramatic, and gone. Maybe love came as a prize after performance, a perfect grade, a perfect smile, a perfect apology. Maybe chaos ruled, doors slammed, rules shifted, and the only safe place was the stage you built with charm. You learned to scan faces like a weather app. You learned to edit yourself in real time. You learned that applause buys quiet. The seed of people-pleasing is not weakness. It is survival tuned into performance, and it keeps performing long after the danger is gone. Carry that boy forward into a glowing world. The phone gives him a balcony and a mob. He learns, again, that a joke lands louder than a boundary, that a selfie buys more warmth than a no. That silence feels like exile. Each like is a pacifier. Each view is a permission slip to postpone truth. He is praised for being easy, available, chill. He speaks first to avoid being forgotten, and forgives fast to avoid being left. He is not evil. He is tired. But tired men sign bad treaties. This is how wounds choose rulers. A neglected child grows into a man who subsidizes disrespect because he cannot risk losing the room. He bends his calendar to fit other people's storms and calls the flood compassion. He overshares to be understood and hands rivals his map. He mistakes anxiety for moral urgency and crashes systems to soothe feelings. In the court of your life, unhealed hunger becomes a prime minister, soft-voiced, efficient, and loyal to fear. Now, expose compulsion disguised as morality. You say you are nice. You say you always give second chances. You say you never leave a message unanswered because that would be rude. Listen closely to the engine. Many shoulds are sirens from the wound. You were trained to keep the peace, so you break your own laws to avoid a frown. You stay on the call that insults you. You accept the meeting that wastes you. You lower the price because the room went quiet. You are not leading. You are negotiating with fear. Machiavelli separates intention from effect. He does not hate kindness. He hates policy that weakens the state. Ask of your niceness. Who benefits, and what precedent am I setting? If your mercy guarantees future harm, it is not virtue. It is a fear strategy wearing church clothes. If your forgiveness teaches the offender that consequence is optional, you are paying for their education with your authority. Princes can be generous. They cannot be vague. Generosity without line items turns into tribute. Follow kindness with boundaries, or it becomes tax. Consider 3 street-level examples. A friend routinely gossips about you and then appears with gifts. You tell yourself you shouldn't be petty. so you accept the gift and the rot. Your law is now written. Flattery buys back access. Next, a client keeps moving deadlines and says, "We really value you." You hear the value and ignore the theft. Your law is clear. Compliments offset cost. Finally, a partner who loves your ambition also punishes your focus with jealousy. You soothe every spike with immediate reassurance and small self-betrayals. Your law is loud. Instability gets attention, and attention gets fed. None of these rules were voted on, yet all of them govern you. When algorithms read your wounds, they become your cleverest enemies. The platform notices what stops your thumb. It sees you hover on old photos, on exes, on rivals. It marks the hour you are weakest and times notifications accordingly. It predicts the post you cannot resist and builds a loop around it. It keeps you reactive because reactive men are profitable. The system does not hate you. It simply rewards the parts of you that leak. Your data profile is a map of your sovereign gaps. If silence is your trigger, you will receive pings in droughts. If envy is your trigger, you will receive curated lives at midnight. If outrage is your trigger, you will receive provocations before bed. These are not accidents, they are optimizations. To the algorithm, your attention is wheat. To your unhealed self, every breadcrumb feels like safety. Between the two, your day is spent. Turn this knowledge into policy. Audit your triggers like a treasurer audits ledgers. Name the hour you reach for validation and cut the supply. Phone outside the bedroom. Do not disturb rules. 2 response windows, not 10. Replace reflex with ritual. When the hook lands, you perform 10 slow breaths. A glass of water, a written line. I do not bargain with storms. Rehearse exits. A sentence for disrespect, a pause for anger, a price for labor. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming legible to yourself and to others. Shift morality back to strategy with clarity. Write your constitution in small laws you can enforce. I do not explain no. I do not text in panic. I do not compete with chaos. I do not reward lateness with more access. Post less, build more. Speak fewer promises, deliver more outcomes. Calm law is love for the citizens of your life. Your energy, your craft, your future children, your sleep. They are safer when you stop bribing wolves to like you. Expect resistance from inside and outside. The wound will argue that you are arrogant, that you will be alone, that you owe softness to anyone who asks. The crowd will pout when the tribute ends. Stand your ground. The first weeks are the hardest as old buyers test the door. Hold the line, and the room will reshape. The ones who are needy will disappear. The ones who respect terms will remain and strengthen the state. This is the Machiavellian peace. Not the peace of pleasing everyone, but the peace of governing what you can command: your time, your access, your reactions. Your enemies may never know your story. They don't need to. They only need to learn that your policies do not move when they pout. Then even your wounds lose office. Name the wound, write the law, keep the throne. The collapse begins quietly, a silence that feels like a verdict, a screen that stays still, a name that doesn't light up. You are not losing love. You are losing a drug. Heat in the chest, the urge to move, to post, to explain. You call it harmless. Princes without policy do not try, they beg. Every plea lowers the price and invites another test. The beggar's loop starts with the check. You wake and grip the rectangle like a canteen in a desert. Nothing. You refresh as if shaking a vending machine. Still nothing. By noon, you post something louder, less precise, more dramatic, just to make the numbers twitch. You answer messages that should have waited and send follow-ups that sound helpful but taste like fear. By evening, you are explaining yourself to strangers. as if strangers have jurisdiction over your worth. One post becomes three. Three become a thread. The thread becomes proof that you have left your post. In private, the spiral sharpens. A partner goes cool, and you fill the quiet with proof, old photos, sweeter texts, long paragraphs defending your case. She asks for space, and you deliver content. You cannot sit with uncertainty, so you flood it. The you who had standards disappears behind the you who must be believed. You become a salesman of your own value. Salesmen are tolerated. Rulers are measured. Concessions begin small. Extra availability, a skipped workout, a call past midnight, and end with a schedule that belongs to everyone but you. You carry a story of fairness to justify the chase. I just want to be understood. I just want closure. These are not crimes, they are invitations to keep dancing. You trade dignity for a chance to make your point, but the point is a decoy. What you want is control of their attention. Because you cannot command it, you perform for it. The performance is not art, it is a discount. Discounts move inventory, not loyalty. Discounts teach the buyer to wait for your next panic. Leaking state secrets begins as catharsis. You post a confessional about how hard you've worked, how loyal you've been, how misunderstood you feel. You imagine honesty will save you. To rivals, it is reconnaissance. You just marked your trigger. Silence plus dusk equals a meltdown. You revealed your hours, your weak spots, your hunger. The system hears it too. It learns you jump for bait at 11 p.m. So bait arrives at 10:58. It learns that certain names command you, so those names become your summons. You think you are telling your side of the story. You are publishing your things playbook. Oversharing does not end online. At work, you speak at length about the person who wronged you, and a client learns that a small apology will reset you. You tell a friend every detail of your fights, and that friend learns how to press you back into old roles. You broadcast jealousy in jokes, and rivals hear coordinates. You think you are venting. You are issuing intelligence reports. The enemy does not need to be cruel. He needs to be patient, because you will update him for free. The breach is not only tactical, it is spiritual. Each leak places your mood in someone else's hands. You shape the day around whether they reply. When they delay, you perform. When they arrive, you collapse. This is not romance, it is occupation. Your shadow chairs the cabinet and signs new treaties with old fears. The more you beg, the more the fear asks. It is never satisfying. It will burn the palace to feel warm for a minute. From court to mob is a short distance when you lose consistency. People do not love princes who wobble, they circle them. 1 week, you are a man of rules, the next a man of exceptions. You violate your response windows to chase one person, and everyone notices. You break your price once, and everyone waits for the next sale. Consistency is the architecture of respect. Without it, your square fills with noise. The mob has no face. It has hands that pull and mouths that demand. It rewards outbursts and punishes order broken by panic. Watch how fast tone shifts when the spiral goes public. Yesterday, you posted a firm boundary. Today, you are subtweeting a stranger's insult. Yesterday, you preached focus. Today, you live in your comments. Yesterday, you spoke about craft. Today, you measure yourself in almost. The contradiction is obvious. The crowd senses you want rescue, not order. They offer rescue in the cheapest form, a flurry of half-concerned replies, and you drink it like soup. Tomorrow they will be gone. What remains is the stain of volatility, a memory that your laws move when your feelings do. The answer is not to harden into stone. It is to rebuild governance. First, see the picture without excuses. In collapse, you chase. You write paragraphs you later delete. You promise changes you cannot keep. You over-explain, overpay. overpost. You try to litigate belonging in the court of public opinion. When the verdict is still silent, you search for a louder judge. Stop. You are negotiating with a fire. Fire does not keep treaties. Pull the camera closer. What is the first link in your loop? The midnight check, the morning scroll, the lunch break rant. Cut one. Replace it with an act that pays your state. 10 push-ups, a paragraph toward a project, a walk without the phone. What is the sentence that opens your leak? I just wish you would retire it. Replace it with a line that closes doors. I will revisit this tomorrow. What is the exception that keeps inviting the mob? Put a price on it you will enforce. A late fee, a pause in access, a rescheduled meeting without apology. Begin a protocol for silence. If they do not reply, you do not repeat. If they do not respect a boundary, you do not restate it. You reduce access. If they escalate in public, you de-escalate by leaving. You do not perform your pain. You do not shop for sympathy. You let consequence speak, so your laws don't need speeches. Policy is boring on purpose. Boring is strong. You will be accused of changing. Agree. Say, yes, I changed the borders. My roads will run on time. The people who need your meltdowns will call it selfish. The people who love your mission will call it relief. The partner who only respected the chase will drift. The partner who respects the work will align. Clients who fed on discounts will disappear. Clients who respect invoices will anchor. Let the leaving happen. It is not a loss, it is a clearing. When you stop feeding the spiral, identity returns in pieces that fit. Mornings get quieter. Your craft grows teeth again. You are less available to games because you are busy building. You speak slowly, and because you speak slowly, your words have weight. You answer late, and because you answer late, you think. You post less, and because you post less, your work compounds. The mob loses interest in a state that does not riot on schedule. The collapse was a map of what you worshipped. Now draw a new map. Fewer treaties with panic, fewer confessions to strangers, fewer sales on your worth. Respect does not require a siren. It requires roads, gates, and a calendar that belongs to you. If attention returns, it will arrive to the sound of order, not begging. Calm law over loud loss. The feeling was loud, but it wasn't love. It was weather passing heat, quick thunder. What lasts is climate, policy, consequence, and the quiet gravity they create. From feelings to terms, you stop asking to be adored and start insisting on being understood. Not with speeches, but with the constitution you live by. Your rules become simple and visible. Mornings belong to craft. Responses arrive in fixed windows. Boundaries hold without apology. You do not accept invitations that charge your mission interest. You do not explain your no. You do not trade your focus for someone else's mood. People who want you to learn your cadence the way citizens learn a city, by the lights, by the routes, by the curfew. They do not need posters. They need signs that never move. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. A pilot files a flight plan so the sky won't become chaotic. A surgeon follows protocol so the room can breathe. You do the same with your life. You write how disagreements are handled, how time is scheduled, how money is respected, how access is earned. When someone truly cares, they are relieved to know how not to lose you. When someone only cares about control, they are offended by your law. Good. Law filters. Your frame stops being a mood and becomes a jurisdiction. Respect outlasts applause. Applause is a crowd reflex. Respect is a record. You create respect by being predictable in strength. Your tone stays level. Your standards repeat. Your consequences arrive quietly. Volatility is exciting for a week and repellent for a season. Lovers tire of reacting to storms. Clients tire of guessing whether today is discount day or rules day. Friends tire of walking on the fault line. Predictable strength invites trust because it lowers the cost of being close to you. People invest when the rules are known. They hedge when the rules are emotional. Think like a ruler building roads. Your calendar becomes the infrastructure of desire. Tuesday is for delivery, Thursday for meetings, Saturday for rest. Your phone sleeps outside the bedroom. You do not argue in text. You do not escalate in public. You keep small promises, ruthlessly arrive when you said, finish what you started, leave when the line is crossed. Your word turns into a timepiece. People set theirs by it. When you fail, you pay your own fine. No special exemptions for your moods. That fairness applied to yourself first makes others brave enough to trust you. Understand how attention misleads you here. A spike feels like proof that you matter. It only proves you are novel. Novelty is sugar. Respect is bread. Sugar makes people swarm and crash. Bread keeps them standing. The more you chase sugar, the more you must perform to stay relevant. The more you bake bread, the more people rearrange their day to share it. Bread takes time, quiet ovens, and the refusal to open the door every minute to check. Let the loaf rise. Let the climate form. Let your life be a kitchen with steady heat, not a carnival with fireworks that scare the animals and feed no one. Desire follows scarcity, not scarcity of heart, but scarcity of access created by mission and self-respect. You are not always available because you are not always for sale. Scarcity is not a trick, it is a side effect of building. When your hours are full of real work, your presence becomes concentrated. People feel it when you arrive. You are attentive because you are not burned out from being everywhere. You are warm because you did not spend the day buying warmth with your attention. Your absence signals substance. It proves your life moves without an audience. Scarcity makes presence meaningful. In the same way, silence makes music possible. Practice controlled availability like a craft. Decide how often you post, when you reply, how you host, how you leave. Announce little, deliver much. Show up at a cadence your life can support for years. If someone demands more, you do not compensate with chaos. You invite them to align with your rhythm or enjoy distance. Watch how respect sharpens around men whose time has borders. Invitations become cleaner. Negotiations become shorter. Games become boring. People who valued access more than essence will drift. People who value essence will learn your gates. At times, you will be accused of being too formal. Let them prefer storms. You will prefer seasons. Seasonality is how orchards live. Blossoms, fruit, pruning, quiet. You are not a constant bloom for any passerby. You are a garden with gates and hours. Those willing to learn them will find shade. Those who want fruit on demand will rattle the fence and leave. Your job is not to chase them down the road. Your job is to water the ground that feeds you and the few who feed it back. Formality is not frost. It is the structure that keeps the tree alive through winter. Reframe the plot you were sold. It was never love when it needed you. It was never love when you didn't end the show. It was never love when your chaos paid the bill. Love that lasts respects your laws because your laws protect both of you. Attention is weather dramatic, shifting, loud. Power is climate steady, shaping, quiet. Build climate. Let the weather do what the weather does. When the sky turns, your roads will still hold, and so will the ones who belong on them. Choose terms over thrills. Let respect grow the love. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You start by commanding yourself, not with noise, with law. The wound that once wrote your reactions in secret now sits across the table. You will audit it, tax it, and take its pen. This is not therapy language, it is statecraft. You are drafting a constitution that cannot be bribed by mood. Begin the private audit. Name the triggers that pull you off your post. rejection, silence, public disagreement. Do not romanticize them. Rejection first. When you feel the chest tighten and the hands reach for proof, your rule becomes simple. You do not argue for entry. You record the data and return to work. Cool down window. 24 hours of no outreach, no posting about it, no defense. During the window, you perform only acts that compound training, writing, systems, because compounding pays the state and arguing pays the crowd. Silence next. When messages stall or invitations vanish, your rule is timing, not pleading. You reply during set windows. You never send a second message that explains the first. You let time reveal intent. Cool down. Overnight minimum. If the silence continues, you reduce access, not dignity. Public disagreement last. When someone challenges you in front of others, your rule is a calm, short response or a redirection to an agreed-upon forum. If the tone stays chaotic, you exit. You do not box in the marketplace. You fight where the rules protect both fighters. Write these rules where you can see them. Keep them short enough to repeat under pressure. Pair each with a physical ritual that resets your nervous system. Slow exhale counts, a glass of water, a walk to the door, push-ups by the desk. You are training the body to obey the law so the mind can think. When the wound shouts, ritual buys you time. Time restores judgment. After every incident, debrief like an officer. What triggered it? Which rule worked? What cost did chaos extract? This is boring. Boring is how states become rich. Now move from private law to public policy. People cannot respect what they cannot predict. Draft 6 to 8 rules you are willing to enforce without speeches. Response windows. Messages are checked at noon and at 6. Emergencies call. They do not ping. Content cadence. Publish on a schedule your craft can sustain. Quality over spikes. No panic posts. Meeting terms. Every meeting has an agenda in writing, a time box, and a decision or a deferral. Cancellations inside 24 hours reduce future access. Boundary for disrespect. 1. Calm correction, then distance. You do not escalate, you relocate. Escalation ladder. First offense earns clarity, second earns consequence, third ends access for a season. Financial clarity. Prices are written, discounts are rare and public. Scope creep is a new contract, not a favor. Public conflict. You do not subtweet. You do not feed mobs. You do not litigate in comments. You invite private resolution or you withdraw. Publish these rules quietly through behavior. A pinned note in your calendar. A simple line in your email footer. A rhythm people can feel. Do not argue the rules. Demonstrate them. The first time you enforce a boundary, expect pushback. Those who thrived on your chaos will call you rigid. Those who respect outcomes will begin to lean in. Consistency is your press office. Every week you keep your cadence, the policy grows teeth. Every exception you grant to buy affection removes them. Enforcement must be clean. When someone arrives late without cause, the meeting shortens or moves. When a client expands scope in passing, you send a new proposal. When a partner experiments with jealousy, you name it once and refuse to play the game. When a friend drags you into drama, you move the conversation to solutions or to silence. No rage, no theater. You are signaling to the state that laws matter more than moods. Over time, people will test you less because tests become expensive. Now shape scarcity and signals. Scarcity here is not a costume, it is the natural result of mission. Your days are full of building, so access is finite. Design a rhythm that implies surplus options without pretending. Posting. Choose a cadence that you can hold for a year and pair it with a style that compounds deep work, not bait. Texting. Choose 2 windows for replies and protect them. Outside those windows, you are at work or at rest. Appearing, choose where your face belongs, rooms that advance the mission, and be gracious but brief elsewhere. Scarcity makes presence dense. People feel your attention as food, not crumbs. Add visible crafts that prove self-rule. Training at fixed hours, recorded sessions, delivered work, calendars that show long blocks of focus. Share process, not panic. Milestones, not meltdowns. When you show the trench, early drafts, iterations, steady lifts, you teach observers that your value is produced, not performed. The man who builds daily becomes expensive without saying so. His time is spoken for. His no is not rejection. It is a prior commitment to the republic he governs. Signals must be honest. Wear the watch you can afford and the patience you cannot fake. Speak less about goals and more about systems. When invited to gossip, decline with a smile and a redirect. When praised, accept without discounting. When criticized in good faith, engage once and decide. When criticized in bad faith, disappear. Every micro-action tells the court how to treat you. Leave a trail of small proofs, clean files, on-time deliverables, short emails with decisions, invoices that match the work, apologies that include cost, not just words. These proofs compound into reputation. Reputation buys the quiet you need to keep building. Expect the first month to sting. Old patterns scream when deprived. You will feel lonely when the phone goes still. That is withdrawal, not reality. Replace the noise with a pipeline. One skill to sharpen, one asset to ship, one relationship to deepen, one weakness to shore. Protect sleep like a fort. Eat on time. Lift something heavy. Read to refuel judgment. Boredom will arrive. Meet it with craft. Boredom is where mastery grows. You will also feel new strength. The morning will open like cleared streets. Your inbox will shrink to the essential. Partners who value you will begin to plan around your cadence. The ones who needed your immediate availability will peel away. Let them. Empty seats are not failures. They are capacity for the right citizens. You will see the wound try to bargain one last time. Just this once. Be the old you. Smile, repeat your law, and return to work. In a year of law, the state you are in is unrecognizable. Not louder, quieter. Not colder, warmer, where it counts. Your words weigh more because they are rare and kept. Your prices hold because discounts are history. Your relationships deepen because trust replaces confusion. You did not outshout the marketplace. You outgoverned yourself. You became the kind of Prince Machiavelli respected, not the one who chases, but the one whose terms outlive storms. Write the law, live the law, let the law raise your price. The doors open to a quieter court. No horns, no mobs, just the steady hum of a state that runs itself because its prince runs himself. You wake without reaching for permission. Your calendar answers for you. The rules you wrote yesterday protect you today, and the day is simple. No chasing, only choosing. The quiet court is not cold. It is composed. Mornings belong to craft, so your hands meet the work before they meet the world. Messages sit until their window. Decisions wait for the table, not the hallway. Disrespect meets consequence without ceremony and ends without echo. You do not audition for anyone. You receive, you assess, you allocate. People who enter feel it in their pulse, the slower air, the measured voice, the absence of panic. It is not a performance, it is climate. Because you choose, your circle thins and deepens. Friends who once needed your constant availability now learn your rhythm or drift to louder rooms. Clients who prized chaos leave. Clients who prize delivery stay and bring others who respect invoices and deadlines. A partner who loves drama fades. A partner who loves growth adapts. Lunch becomes conversation, not crisis. Evenings are for rest or study instead of repair. Sleep returns like a citizen who finally trusts the streets. Gravity replaces noise. You stop marketing your worth, and work begins to market you. Your cadence, publish, deliver, review, recover, becomes a signal that smart people can read. They align because alignment pays them too. Meetings shrink because agendas are clear. Projects close because scope is real. Apologies become rare and short because the process holds. Your name moves through rooms you are, not in, not as a spectacle, but as a safe bridge, crossable, durable, known. You feel the old urges, visit like weather fronts, anxious fingers at midnight, the itch to post, the need to explain. Weather is allowed, law remains. You step into your ritual, into breath, into the small act that returns you to command. The urge passes through, like rain across stone. You do not run outside to prove you are dry. You let the roof do its job. Confidence stops being a mood and becomes the confidence of a machine that was built correctly. With time, abundance grows where scarcity once felt like loss. Because you are not everywhere, you are fully somewhere. Your presence gains weight. People plan to earn it. Invitations get cleaner. Negotiations shorter. Respect faster. The city you govern becomes predictable in the best way. Roads open, gates work, markets run on time. You discover that peace is not the absence of enemies, it is the absence of self-betrayal. The enemy can knock. The gatekeeper simply does his work. You do not need slogans to keep what you have built. You need maintenance, weekly reviews, a written budget for time, favor, and attention, clear seasons for focus and for celebration, occasional fines you pay to yourself when you miss your mark because you prefer justice over excuses, even in private. This fairness makes you generous without becoming cheap. You can say yes with a full heart because no one can yank your calendar out of your hands. And then the best part, tenderness returns. Not the frantic warmth that used to burn out by Sunday, but the steady heat of trust. You laugh more because nothing is at stake in every glance. You listen more because you are not waiting to be chosen. You can love without bribing, mentor without rescuing, partner without performing. People feel safer around you because you are safe to yourself. Take the creed with you when storms rise and screens glow. You do not chase, you choose. You do not plead, you price. You do not perform, you govern. You do not react, you enforce. You do not hoard, you build. You do not explain, you execute. Repeat it until your pulse slows and your law speaks first. This is the quiet victory. Machiavelli respected the peace earned by order, the freedom protected by terms. Choose, enforce, and let peace do the talking.